Welcome, Fairlands community. I'm Ms. Deeringhoff, principal at Fairlands.
And my name is Mrs. Townsend, vice principal at Fairlands.
We're just about to the halfway point of our school year and want to take a moment to express heartfelt gratitude to our students, their families, and our staff for working together to make the best out of a very challenging school year. We wanted to take some time to inform you about the latest update from the school board, what we've been doing to prepare for a return to school, and how your child's day will change when students return to school.
California tracks the COVID-19 data for each county and assigns a colored tier based on positivity rates and public health capacity. Alameda County moved into the purple tier on November 16th. The purple tier is the most restrictive tier, indicating that COVID-19 is widespread in our county. While counties are in the purple tier, schools are not allowed to reopen according to county guidelines.
At the school board meeting, there was a discussion about the plans for a partial reopening of elementary schools for in-person attendance. The original plan was to have hybrid model students return to school for in-person learning starting January 7th of 2021. Unfortunately, due to the Alameda County Public Health guidelines in the purple tier, we will not be allowed to have our students return on that date as planned.
The school board passed this motion at the school board meeting. Once we've been in the red tier for 2 weeks, pre-K, TK, kindergarten, first and second grade will reopen for hybrid students. 1 week later, third, fourth, and fifth grade hybrid students will return to school. The board will continue their discussion for middle and high school students returning at the January 14th school board meeting.
In the meantime, the district leadership, our staff at Fairlands, and our teachers have all worked together to be sure our school is ready to safely open. The county has a document that is frequently updated with all the current health and safety guidelines, and the Pleasanton Unified School District has posted their reopening plan on their website. You can also find the PUSD plan on the Fairlands website.
At Fairlands, we have taken several steps to physically prepare. We have put down 6-foot distance reminders on the floors, indicated signage for social distancing and healthy hygiene in all areas, installed MERV 13 filters in all our classrooms, placed air purifiers in all our classrooms, and reimagined our classroom spaces to allow physical distancing, just to name a few. Please note that students will be seated in physically distanced assigned workspaces and must wear a mask at all times in the classroom. Recess times will be in the classroom or in short durations in a designated space on the blacktop. Play structures will be closed, students will not share equipment, and students will remain with their cohort for the duration of their time on campus.
Once we are closer to an actual reopening date, we will be sending additional videos with all of the new specifics that will be important for families to know, including health screening, drop-off, and pickup procedures.
When we transition to our partial reopening, the schedules and routines for all students, both hybrid and remote, will look very different than they do right now.
Every classroom at Fairlands will have a combination of both hybrid students who will be returning to school and remote learners who will be staying home. Your child's teacher will be adjusting the class schedules in order to be able to support the students at school, as well as students who are learning remotely. Since teachers will be meeting with students both at home and in person, please be advised that they will not be available to interface with students as often as when all students are on remote learning. Students in 1st through 5th grade will also likely have a change in their science, music, and PE times. Students will attend science, PE, and music via Zoom from their classrooms or from home.
Let's walk through an example of what a student's week may look like as a hybrid learner coming to school for a portion of the day in person. Hybrid students will come to campus for 2.5 hours on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays in either the AM or PM session. Most classes at Fairlands will have students attending the AM session, while other students will be on campus during the PM session. For example, let's take a closer look at what a hybrid student schedule could look like if coming to campus in the AM session. The student would come to school in the morning for 2.5 hours before going home for lunch from 11 till 12:30. Hybrid learners will then have additional assignments and possibly additional Zoom meetings in the afternoon in order to meet the required number of instructional minutes as required by law. A hybrid learner assigned to the AM session simply indicates the time of day when the student will physically be at school. Then during the PM session, that same student will still need to be engaged in learning by following the teacher's scheduled Zoom calls and/or independent assignments. All students will be finished with their day by no later than 3:15 p.m.
Now let's look at an example of what a student's week may look like as a 100% remote at-home learner. With most of the hybrid students at Fairlands attending the AM session in person, as a remote at-home learner, your child will likely have more independent work to complete in the mornings. Your child's teacher may have your child join some Zoom calls in the morning while the hybrid students are in person at school. Remote students will also have lunch from 11 to 12:30, and in the afternoon, remote learners will engage with their teachers via Zoom calls and by completing independent assignments. All students will be finished with their day by no later than 3:15 p.m.
All students, hybrid and at-home learners, Wednesday schedules will include a minimum of one Zoom session with their classroom teacher and possibly some time with specials such as PE, music, or science. The majority of your child's Wednesday will be spent working on independent assignments. All students will still be finished with their day by no later than 3:15 p.m.
Please keep in mind that the schedules we displayed were samples of what your child's day may look like. Each classroom teacher will be sharing schedules outlining the particulars for their individual class. To wrap up, we want to reiterate that every child will be involved in school, either in person, via direct remote instruction, or through independent assignments, roughly between 8:15 a.m. and 11 a.m., and again between 12:30 and 3:15 p.m. The first 2 weeks of instruction will include an emphasis on social emotional learning, health and safety procedures, and supporting students in transitioning back to in-person learning.
Still to come, we will provide more information about your child's bell schedule and additional procedures and logistics when we have a definitive date for reopening, including communicating AM/PM assignments approximately 1 to 2 weeks before switching to partial reopening for in-person instruction.
On behalf of the entire Fairlands staff, we thank you for your continued partnership and support of our Flyers. We wish you a happy holiday season and look forward to welcoming in 2021 together.